Here's Dr. Gil Lederman, New York's only Harvard-trained, triple-board certified radiation cancer doctor. If chemosurgery or radiation isn't working or isn't tolerated when cancer and its pain and symptoms aren't getting better, seek a fresh second opinion at Radiosurgery New York's Urgent Cancer Consultants for innovative, custom-tailored cancer treatment. See our experts within one business day because we know your time and your life are precious. Our goal is proper diagnosis and effective, non-invasive outpatient treatment. Decades of leadership, first in New York with brain radiosurgery, first in America with body radiosurgery for cancers of the brain, body, and prostate, all custom-tailored for you. Call 212-CHOICES, 212-CHOICES for a prompt appointment and free booklet DVD. Super convenient, 38th and Broadway, with most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid accepted. You're next at Radiosurgery New York. Just call 212-CHOICES, 212-CHOICES.
Welcome, everybody. It's the Radiosurgery Show with Dr. Gil Lederman, MD, New York's only Harvard-trained, triple-board certified radiation oncologist who brings you the latest cancer treatment news, interviewing world-renowned cancer experts, delving into special cases, and, of course, answering your questions. I'm Rob Redstone, broadcasting from the WOR studios in the heart of New York City. And now, please welcome Dr. Lederman.
Hi, good morning. I hope you're all fine and having a great weekend. We're here to talk about a lot of things today, a lot of patients, a lot of news, even though it's holiday week, and happy to take your calls, so you're welcome to call us at the WOR studio, which is 1-800-321-0710, 1-800-321-0710. We're live, this new show. We have 5 shows this weekend. One was on WABC yesterday morning, every Saturday at 5 to 6, and WOR, we have one at 1:30 to 2:30 in the morning, one at 3 to 4 in the morning. This show, 6 to 7 in the morning, and finally tonight at 9 to 10. So we often talk about seeing people who are getting treatment elsewhere and that treatment isn't tolerated or it isn't working. So we're going to dwell on some of those patients today, how people elsewhere just are not getting the care and the results that they need. The first patient is a woman. She's married to a very famous mathematician, one of Europe's greatest mathematicians. And she lives part of her life in the United States and had been coming to a cancer center nearby, famous place. And in 2008, 6 years ago, they detected a nodule in her lung. Well, new nodules in the lung don't really belong there. So in 2008, they knew about it and chose not to do anything about it. In 2009, it grew. It went from 8 millimeters to a centimeter, and by 2010 it went to 12 millimeters, so in diameter it increased by 50%, but we know that the volume of the cancer is to the 3rd power of the radius, so actually it about tripled in size in the number of cancer cells, and yet nothing was done. And it went on until finally her cousin, a physicist in the United States, grew concerned and called me and asked if I would be willing to see the patient and see the scans. And finally she got fully staged and actually not only had a lung cancer, but by this time, 6 years later, it had spread to the mediastinal lymph nodes. So, wow. Back then, treatment for an 8 millimeter tumor most likely would have been a curative. Now she has a stage 3 cancer and comes to us to save the day. And of course, we will try. So she is being treated in her stereotactic frame. She's tolerating treatment well. She has tickets to go back to her country in Europe shortly. We've restaged her and found that the tumors that we've treated have been successfully controlled, and that's by PET scan, CAT scan. So PET scan, CAT scan is double testing. CAT scan looks at the shadows, the shapes of the body, and PET scan actually is an injection of radioactive materials. So the spots we treated were successfully stopped, and that's very important. Obviously, we want to follow her and make sure that other spots never appear. The beauty of radiosurgery is that we can hit other spots if necessary, and it's advantageous to the patient to know that usually in 5 treatments we can hit the spots, and our success, even for lung cancer, which is one of the most vicious cancers, our ability to stop a cancer where we aimed the beam is approximately 90% for the rest of the life of the patient where we attack that cancer. Another patient came to us with a rising PSA. This is a patient who heard about us through friends, and this PSA had gone up to about 5 from 3, so a significant elevation. Usually above 4 is considered significant PSA. PSA is prostatic specific antigen, and spoke to him at length. What does this mean? He's about a 60-year-old man. What does he want to do about it? Yes, if he had cancer, he'd want to treat it. So we arranged for a biopsy, and he had a Gleason 6 cancer. So he actually has a very favorable prognosis in our hands with Gleason 6, and Gleason 6 is how the cancer looks under the microscope. PSA 5 is a low risk. With our program, we have about a 95% success rate, which is very high, and compared to surgery, and that's open surgery or robotic surgery, which leaves most men impotent and many men leaking urine, in our hands, most all men maintain urinary control, and the vast majority keep their sexual function, and there's a 95% chance he will be cancer-free. If you want to see our data, by the way, we have a new prostate booklet. We just came out with a totally new prostate cancer booklet, and this booklet actually shows our results versus other major centers across the country, and you may want to see how we stack up. Well, you can imagine how we stack up if we put our data in a book, black and white, and all the other colors, compared to the other guys. Yeah, we are better than the vast majority of other places, and that includes proton beam, surgery, robotic surgery, standard radiation, even places that do what's called similar work to ours. We have about a 10 to 30% better results. Why? Because there's a technique. So just because you have the paintbrush of Michelangelo doesn't mean that you can paint like Michelangelo. If you have the same machine, the same fancy machine that we have, doesn't mean you can use it in the same way. So it's really important to look at the results. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. We have superb results for prostate cancer and most all other cancers. And again, I'd encourage you to look at the book. You can call us during the week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, at our number 212-CHOICES, and we'll mail to you at no charge. One woman who came in just before the holiday, and she was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. She has breast cancer, and she went to a big hospital in Manhattan, and she was found to have metastasis to the brain. So how do metastases get to the brain? Metastasis is the spread of the cancer, and sometimes, yes, cancer can spread locally. Sometimes it can spread to lymph nodes, and sometimes it can get in the bloodstream and spread anywhere. A bit like a terrorist on the highway can go anywhere. And this woman was diagnosed with breast cancer that went to the brain. She went to the emergency room at another hospital. Of course, they got a CAT scan and an MRI, and they called the neurosurgeon. And sometimes when you go to the hospital, you feel like everyone's being called to see the patient. I don't know if it's because they can do better work or they're afraid. So she was seen by the neurosurgeon, who pushed for surgical resection of one of her 2 metastases. And they resected that metastasis in May, and then encouraged this woman to have radiation to the rest of her brain. Well, she found out about us and got focused beam radiation, meaning just hit the cancer, not hurt the healthy brain. We were the first in New York with brain radiosurgery, which is non-invasive technique. It allows us to focus in, hit the cancer, not hurt the brain. Usually done just in a few treatments. Unlike gamma knife, it doesn't have any screws in the head. Unlike standard radiation, it doesn't radiate the whole brain. So that's what we proposed for this woman. This woman was placed on steroids by her neurosurgeon, but he then didn't take her off of the steroids. And there's something called steroid myopathy, where actually the steroids hurt the muscles. I know many of you have heard about people taking steroids to get stronger. Well, actually, real medical steroids weaken the muscles, and she's grown so weak that she can barely walk. She came in emergently wanting to get checked out, and we checked her out. It was not cancer. It seems to be only steroid myopathy, and so we're tapering the steroids, getting her back on her feet. The cancer's controlled. There's no new sites of cancer, and she has a good prognosis. Doing well, no side effects from brain radiosurgery with us. We're going to stop for just a minute and listen to our sponsor. My name is Dr. Lederman, by the way. I'm from Radiosurgery New York. Questions commonly asked of us: where are we located? 1384 Broadway, 1384 Broadway, at the corner of Broadway and 38th Street. We're located just between Macy's and Times Square and Broadway. So it's super convenient. Most all buses, subways, trains come right to the center of Manhattan within a few steps of our office. We're close to Grand Central, Penn Station, PATH trains, and even Port Authority for people who come by buses. And I can tell you that people come by all these methods of treatment. Some drive in, of course. There's commercial parking nearby. Why come? Well, to have a fresh second opinion, to have treatment that has a high degree of effectiveness, that's non-invasive. Many of our patients are tired of chemo. It hasn't worked, or they have side effects. Many of them are tired of other methods of treatment, like this last patient. Why would she have brain radiosurgery where we could have done... Why would she have open surgery on her brain when we could have done non-invasive treatment of her brain tumors? Well, we're treating one tumor non-invasively. We could have easily treated the 2 without opening up her head. She would have avoided a big operation, convalescence, and a prolonged use of steroids, which actually made her muscles weak. So a fresh second opinion may be something that's useful for you. Again, if you're interested, just give us a call or get a booklet. It's best to come in and spend an hour or 2 and we'll go over all the details of your case, get to the bottom of it. We'll give you copies of your paperwork, so you'll see the pathology, you'll see your scans. If you need additional scans, we'll help arrange it. And we do take most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid. You're welcome to give us a call. So we're going to hear from some new voices about us, and then we'll be back in a moment to talk about more cases and answer your questions and news articles. Thank you.
For cancer treatment, most prefer effective, non-invasive, well-tolerated outpatient therapy. With Dr. Lederman, the radiosurgery pioneer, that's our goal too. He's first in America, first in New York, first for you with body radiosurgery. We hit your cancer with no cutting, no bleeding. Dr. Lederman has decades of experience with primary and metastatic large or small cancers from head to toe. Cancer treatment with possibly a second chance for you, even if chemo, radiation, or surgery didn't work or isn't tolerated. Our goals are best results and quality of life. Meet Dr. Lederman to hit the cancer. For a free booklet DVD, call 212 Choices, 212 Choices for a fresh second opinion. Most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid, accepted. Not only super convenient, super. Broadway and 38th in Manhattan. To hit your cancer, see Dr. Lederman, 212 Choices.
With Dr. Lederman, the best prostate cancer treatment is custom tailored for you. Each man with prostate cancer is unique and seeks the best results based upon PSA, Gleason score, and stage. That's why Dr. Lederman's custom tailored prostate cancer treatment is most logical. Not every man should get the same treatment. Dr. Lederman's custom prostate cancer treatment is all outpatient. Our goals are your best results, avoiding radical surgery, maintaining your sexual and urinary function, and your life. Most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid accepted. Call Dr. Lederman at 212-CHOICES, 212-CHOICES for a fresh second opinion and free booklet DVD. Not only super convenient, super in Manhattan, 38th and Broadway. To hit the cancer, call Dr. Lederman, 212-CHOICES. Cherish your life. Custom prostate cancer treatment with Dr. Lederman, 212-CHOICES.
Welcome back to the Radio Surgery Hour. This is Rob Redstone here with Dr. Gil Lederman at the WOR Studios in the heart of New York City. We're just a few steps from the Radio Surgery New York Cancer Treatment Center on Broadway and 38th Street. Dr. Lederman, the leading cancer expert, treats prostate cancer non-invasively. He was the first in New York with fractionated brain radiosurgery, and he's the first in America and in the Western Hemisphere with body radiosurgery. You can also call Dr. Lederman at 212-CHOICES for a free informative booklet and DVD. Hey, Dr. Lederman, we're back.
Hey, we're back, and we're talking more about cases. We're talking about how we serve such a function for new patients and also for people whose cancer just hasn't responded to the treatment they're getting. I want to talk about a woman who's 71 who came in just this week. She's a married woman with 2 children. She lives in New Jersey. She was just diagnosed this past year with T-cell lymphoma. So lymphomas are usually very, very, very sensitive to treatment, and usually they melt away. Well, this woman was fine until June 2013 when she developed weakness and never got better. She was a vital woman, playing tennis, having lots of friends, taking care of her family, and she lost 42 pounds. She went from about 150 down to 110 pounds. You can imagine how weak she got. She was worked up and found to have tumors in the lung. They were biopsy-proven T-cell lymphomas. And she went to one of the most prestigious hospitals, biggest prestigious hospitals in New York City. She started chemotherapy. She had tumors in the right lung, the left lung, and the abdomen. She had 6 cycles of chemotherapy between January and May. And this lymphoma, the lymphoma which I told you usually responds beautifully to treatment, progressed. It grew. It kept growing. Well, this woman is a smart woman, and she gave a half a year of her life to chemotherapy. She lost so much weight. She was having diarrhea 18-20 times a day. She decided to stop the chemotherapy. Furthermore, from the cancer and from the treatment, she was losing blood. She's had multiple blood transfusion. Her hematocrit, which is the percent of the fluid in the blood, is red blood cells. In most of us, it's about 40, 45. In her, it was down to 27. So she had this weakness, the weight loss, the diarrhea, and she decided to get a second opinion. She's smart. She didn't stay on the same treatment. She said, look, I'm not better. I can't take it anymore. I am changing my treatment. I'm going to investigate other methods of treatment. She came to me this week. I examined her records. We got the pathology. The doctors at the other hospital couldn't imagine that cancer wasn't responding, so what did they do? They did another biopsy. Well, it's okay. They did another biopsy. And what was it? Well, she was told it's something different. But in front of me and her friend, she went to the bathroom because she has diarrhea so much. I got the pathologist on the line, and he confirmed it was this exact same cancer, T-cell lymphoma. And I asked him to send over a report, and I gave her the report. She has the report. She has the PET scan. The cancer's progressing. So we proposed a totally different treatment, because if the best chemo is not working, most probably the secondary or tertiary chemo is not going to be much better and probably be worse. Usually when the cancer sees chemo, it starts resisting pretty fast. Well, this woman didn't even have a vacation from the cancer. It just got worse and worse and worse and worse. The day she saw me, she saw another doctor who told her she has 2 weeks to live. Now, this is an ambulatory, intelligent woman. She called me back and said she wants to get going with treatment immediately. I proposed that this diarrhea and the anemia were probably related to humors. Sometimes cancers produce substances which cause effects on the normal body, like this diarrhea, which has been massive and it's been overwhelming to her, and nothing that they've done has helped her. So I'm going to propose medicine to help slow down the diarrhea and cancer treatment to stop the biggest nodules of cancer first. If she likes our treatment, we will complete it. I always like to tell people they are the President of the United States of their body, and I work for the President. And if they like our work, if we make her better, then stick with us and we'll complete the job. So that's where we stand. This is